So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Navamsa series of the week. And today we're going to be covering Rahu in the 8th house of your Navamsa chart. And what happens when Rahu is sitting in the 8th house of your D9 Navamsa, which, as you know, is one of the most important charts in Vedic astrology, which shows the strength of your planets from the birth chart. It shows the path of your life with your partner in terms of marriage. It's your fortune. What kind of fortune is a person destined to have in life? Because it is the expansion of the ninth division, which means the ninth house energy. It's not really the ninth house, it's the ninth division. Okay. So it's a fortunate chart. It kind of shows how fortunate a person is. So we're going to discuss this today. And if you do not know if you have Rahu in the 8th house in your Navamsa, or what planetary placements you have in your Navamsa or your birth chart, check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, including my books and consultation under the shop section. But Navamsa is just a very fascinating chart, and Rahu in the 8th house of Navamsa is just as fascinating. So let's discuss that. So Rahu in the 8th house. So first of all, 8th house of Navamsa represents the joint assets of the couple. It represents the life of marriage, because 8th house is longevity. It's not actually a bad house. People think of 8th house as the house of death. No, it's longevity. What is the longevity of something? Like in Dasamsha, 8th house represents, the D10 chart represents the longevity of your career. So in Navamsha represents prolongedness or longevity of the marriage. And 8th house also has the general general relevance of the natural 8th house, which is a house of transformation, house of sudden gains, sudden losses, house of it represents the family of your spouse, represents sudden gains through speculation, whether it's gambling, whether it's sports betting, or what do you call lottery winnings. So it has a lot of implications for the 8th house. But Rahu in the 8th house, you will notice, is that first of all, a person has phobias. They have a phobia, whether it's phobia of darkness, whether it's phobia of depth. I forgot what's the term. There's a particular term for somebody who is afraid of depth, meaning usually water. Like when they'll have afraid of, if the water is deeper than like 10 feet, they'll just get that, the fear in them. Because 8th house of Navamsa, Rahu, may actually represents how a person may have passed away in past life. This one and Dwadasamsa chart, the D12 chart, gives indication of what person may have suffered in the past life, which is why they have a certain fear. So it brings that, like a person will not like going into the dark. Now, of course, if Mars is here, they will love exploring this. So you want to see the conjunction and the aspects, and obviously this is for people who know or who have been following me or learning from my academy what conjunction is, what planet does with what. So like Rahu here alone may definitely give some phobia, but also shows me a person, whether it's a man or woman, doesn't matter, they can actually attain a higher status than their own family. They will be able to have more wealth than what their lineage has had in the past. So let's say your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, they were just normal government workers, railway workers, engineers, and yet you become this tycoon. You become this entrepreneur who makes millions. Because Rahu here opens up the 8th house. And especially, and of course, there are good chances that you may have influence of other planets upon the 8th house. where a person may be very much into gaining things in a sudden way. Like they look for money that comes within one go, whether it's through stock market, lottery winning, risking with speculation. Like this person has this focus that I don't want to work, 40 years and then try to accumulate $2 million or $1 million retirement account. How can I make 1 million in a month? Now, usually 8th house can give a person a very clever, scheming, attitude. Like, how do I scheme now? This doesn't mean that a person is criminal. This doesn't mean that a person is bad. They're just scheming. How do I gain? And how do I gain in a very secretive form? And usually Rahu in the 8th house can become very secretive about their wealth. They will be the person who wants everything now, but they will not tell you that they have everything now. They'll actually may even act poor. Like, oh, yeah, I live a normal life. I'm driving a Toyota Prius and I live in this 3-bedroom normal home, but they've got stash of money. And the reason why a person likes to hide their wealth, because you got to understand, Ketu is directly opposite in the 2nd house. Meaning this person, because 2nd house represents the fame of your marriage, fame of how you are recognized after marriage, like the 10th house and the 2nd house. So here a person kind of feels afraid and worried that if I am to show who I am, people will be attracted to me that may not have the right intentions. Like, for example, how certain bugs and flies are attracted to a bright light. And so they feel like, I don't want to be this bright light. I want to be this person is a very dim bulb and yet has the most powerful generator below it, where it can go from 60 watts to 1,000 watts. But that 1,000-watt bulb with Rahu in the 8th house and Navamsa will only want to shine 5% of its light. And especially within the marriage, there's a lot of exotic experiences. Like the couple may love, taking secret trips to foreign lands, foreign places. They may want to have many foreign things in their possession, but they will not tell other people. And there's a lot of foreign connection with your in-laws, a lot of foreign connection with the spouse's family, where, for example, you may be, let's say, in India or US, but your in-laws could be living in UK. In-laws, the family is spread out in some foreign place. And usually you find a type of family, they're not very have a very fatalistic view of religion or God. They're just very new age, open-minded type people. Now, you can have a terrible experience if one of the malefic planets is sitting with Rahu, especially the 6th, 8th, or 12th house. I mean, then you're looking at pretty much a war happening with the in-laws. But Rahu alone here does not give those type of tendencies. Okay. And one thing we also see with this particular Rahu is that they tend to always gain through their professional network circles. For them, somehow, even if this person is a loner or lives in solitude, somehow their gains will always be connected to a group of people that somehow help them to get the wealth that they want. But don't think that because Ketu is in the 2nd house, a person doesn't have wealth. No, they just tend to not show it, and they reject the idea of showing off that wealth. They can live a normal life, but you will never know that this person is wealthy. Now, obviously, the way to understand it, if the person is wealthy, you want to look at the Dhan Yogas in the birth of Navamsa, but especially the Ekadasamsha. Ekadasamsa chart will show you the massive gains and wealth of a person, along with other parameters in Vedic astrology, which of course becomes second nature. Once you know every just basic concept, you can understand does this person have money or not. But one thing I'll tell you is that the way you actually find out if a person has money or not is not, most of the time, it's not to do with chart. Do you know how do you find prosperity with a person? You smell it onto them. Like if you are to do certain, yoga practices while you're doing Jyotish, a person comes in front of you and the smell, the odor that they give, doesn't even matter if they're wearing like a Calvin Klein perfume or Ralph Lauren fragrance or something. No, it's their own fragrance that gives is this person wealthy or not. And this is why most astrologers are not able to find if this person is wealthy or not. Because again, astrology is a occult science. You call it science, but it's a super science. It's not your logic and statistics of looking at, this house, this lord, this sublord. It's far more deeper than that. And those good astrologers, whether they're Western, Vedic, KP, Gemini, they have kind of increased their vibration to a certain point to understand all these things. But Rahu, I have found to give quite a bit of wealth to a person, but in a very secretive manner. Like especially when I'm have done certain career consultation, a person says, "Look, I have a business which is like 80 crore, 100 crores a year with my family, but I'm looking to see if I can go ahead and get into this business." So I'm like, what is giving them wealth? So of course, Dhan Yoga is there, but I have found that Rahu in the 8th house, in the Navamsa, has given wealth. Now, this hasn't been too many cases. I would say probably like no more than 7, 8 cases, you know. But it's been there. So Rahu in the 8th house is a bhoga karka for marriage, actually. Why? Because it can explode your, you know, life of marriage in a very exotic manner. Like here, you got married, let me give you the things related to your marriage in a big way, in a grand way. Okay? But one of the things you always want to see is what sign Rahu is sitting in. Look at the sign. So let's say if it's in Virgo, it's Mercury. If it's in Libra, Venus. Look at the sign that rules, the planet that rules that particular sign. See where it's placed in the Navamsa. Rahu is going to behave like that planet and is going to try to give you the bhog or struggles wherever that planet is placed. Okay? So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Rahu in the 8th house of D9 Navamsa. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you want to know where your Rahu is placed and all the other astrological details, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.